Hi guys, so today we will be talking about powers of monomials. In other words, we will be raising monomials to powers using a power rule. So these are the worksheets that we are working on today. I will try to make a copy of that on Google Classroom, post it on Google Classroom, but most of you have to have these worksheets already, the paper copies of those. So, this was the classwork, and this is the homework. It's homework 2, powers of monomials and geometric applications. Okay, so powers of monomials. I will start with giving you an example with the numbers without any variables. For example, if we have 8 to the second power, we do know that 8 to the second power is 64 because 8 times 8 is 64. But we do know that 8 is actually 2 to the third power, right? So we can represent 8 like this. So this is my 8, and then we have to raise it to the second power. Okay? I'm telling you that when you see 2 powers and then parentheses in between, you have to multiply those powers. 3 times 2 is 6. So 2 to the 6th power. And let's see if I'm correct. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, and times 2 is 64. So 2 to the 6th power is 64, and 8 to the second power is 64. That proves you that we were right when we multiplied 3 times 2, and then we got the power 6. So the general case of this power rule is when you have a variable, like anything to some power, and then you have to raise it to the other power, you have to multiply the powers. So it's actually x to the power a times b. So this is power rule. And then this should be in your notes. Power rule. And the notes are right here on the right hand side. So now we're going to look through a couple of problems, and then you will be on your own. So let's do number 1. Okay, so number 1 is x squared and then raised to the 5th power. So we're using the power rule. 2 times 5 is 10, so it's x to the 10th power. And this is our final answer. Number 2. Yeah, number 3. Let's do number 3. We have c d squared and everything is raised to the 3rd power. We do know when we see c, it's c to the 1st power. All right, so we have c and we have d squared. So c has to be raised to the 3rd power. 1 times 3 is 3. So c to the 3rd power. D to the 2nd power has to be raised to the 3rd power. 2 times 3 is 6. D to the 6th power. That's the answer for number 3. All right, number 5. 2x squared y raised to the 5th power. So basically we have to raise everything to the 5th power. 2 to the 5th power, x squared to the 5th power, which is 2 times 5 is 10, and y to the 5th power, y to the 5th power. Here we can simplify a little bit. We do know that 2 to the 5th power is 32. Let's check. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So the final answer is 32, x to the 10th power, y to the 5th power. Okay. I will continue with number 7. Let me just change. All right, so number 7, that's how it looks like. Negative 4c to the 3rd power, d to the 4th power, and everything raised to the 4th power. Okay, so negative 4 needs to be raised to the 4th power. When we multiply negative 4 times negative 4 is 16, times negative 4 is going to give me negative 64, and then times negative 4 is going to be positive 256. So it's 256. And then c to the third power raised to the fourth power, we have to, like, in order to do that, we have to multiply 3 times 4 and 4 together. So 3 times 4 is 12. D to the 16th power, because 4 times 4 is 16. Number 9. 1/2 a to the third power, b to the fourth power, c to the fifth power, and everything is raised to the third power. So each one of those, like each number and variable need to be raised to the third power. So 1/2 to the third power, it will be 1/8, because 1/2 times 1/2 will be 1/4. 1/4 times 1/2 is 1/8. A to the 9th power, B to the 12th power, C to the 15th power. I got these numbers by multiplying 3 times 3, 4 times 3, and 5 times 3. All right, let's do number 11. Let me turn the page like that and write down number 11. A to the third power times negative a squared b to the fourth power. Okay, here whatever is inside of the parentheses has to be raised to the fourth power. So a to the third power is left alone for now, and then we have to raise negative 1 to the fourth power. Negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 would give me positive 1. Which we're just not even writing down. So now a squared to the fourth power is a to the 8th power and b to the fourth power. Now we have to multiply these two terms together. So a to the third power times a to the 8th power is a to the 11th power, and this is and we are using the rule that we learned yesterday about. So when we add powers with the same exponents with the same bases, like right here, a is the same base right here. So we have to add the exponents. So 3 plus 8 is 11. Okay, now, again, this was number 11 in the worksheet. All right, now number 13. 6a squared b raised to the third power times 1/3 abc squared. So first we will have to raise all this to the third power, and then we're going to raise all this to the second power, and then we're going to multiply. So 6 to the third power is going to give me, did I copy it right? Yes, 6 to the third power is 216. A squared to the third power is a to the sixth power, b to the third, times 1/3 to the second power is 1/9, because 1 to the second power is 1. 3 to the second power is 9 on the bottom. A squared, b squared, c squared. Now I can simplify this a little bit. 2/16 times 1/9 is going to give me 24, because 2/16 divided by 9 is 24. A to the sixth power times a to the second power is going to give me a to the 8th power, b to the 5th, because 3 plus 2 is 5, and then we have c squared, and this is our final answer. All right, and the final problem in this section that I'm going to go over is going to be number 15. 3x to the third power y is raised to the fourth power, and then we're going to subtract 7x to the fifth power y squared times x squared y squared. So let's see what we're going to do here. First, we are going to raise everything inside of these parentheses to the fourth power. 3 to the fourth power is 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. X to the power 3 times 4, which is 12. Y to the fourth power. Then we're going to put minus. And then we will have to raise all of this to the second power. 7 squared is 49. X to the 10th power, because 5 times 2 is 10. Y squared times X squared, Y squared. Now, we have to subtract this from this. But we can simplify the second part a little bit. So we can say it's 49 x to the 12th power, because 10 plus 2 is 12, y to the 4th power. I'm just going to copy this up here. And then we see that we're dealing with the same stuff. This is from yesterday's lesson. So it's all the variables are the same. X to the 12th power, y to the 4th, x to the 12th power, y to the 4th. So we can subtract 49 from 81. So 81 minus 49 is going to give me 40, what is it? 32, right? 32 x squared y to the 4th power. So, all right, guys. So this is my first video for this lesson. I will post 2 videos altogether. So, your job is to write everything down, to copy all the problems I solved on this like in this video, and then do the rest of them for the classwork.